Greetings to another video. Today is day 2 of my 10-part video series for beginners. Yesterday we talked all about climbing. Today we're going to talk all about descending. I know how scary it can be when you first start out because I did my first ever climb like 5 years ago. It's 5k, I got to the top and was just like, oh my god, how am I going to get down? Luckily, some very experienced cyclists kind of rode down with me to try and give me some tips. So I thought I would give you some of those tips and some of the other things that I've found help when descending, just to make sure that you are comfortable and you become more confident. You don't ever want to be slamming on the brakes hard if you're on on a descent, obviously unless you need to for like an emergency or something. But ideally you want to be feathering your brakes, so that's just softly touching the brakes, and that's just going to mean that you get a less jerky descent and it'll just be more comfortable and a lot smoother. You want to brake before you get to a corner. And the reason for this is if you're braking when you're already in the corner, you're going to have to just take a much less favourable line to get out of that corner. So if you are braking before you hit that corner, you're going to have a lot more control. It can be quite daunting riding in traffic, but you do want to ride away from the curb, because if you are riding that close to the curb and for whatever reason there's a pothole or there's something you need to dodge and you're that close and there are cars there, you've got nowhere to go. So you need to give yourself a little bit of room. It is not to annoy drivers, but it is for your safety. So you want to position yourself a little bit away from the curb just to give yourself plenty of room if you need to move out of the way of anything or any debris or any potholes or anything in the road. You also want to be looking ahead and where you actually want to ride on the road. And I think it can be quite easy to kind of be looking around different places, but you actually want to look which line you're going to take on the road. So that is definite number 1 tip, because from experience, when I was about 10, I was looking straight down, I wasn't looking where I was going, and I hit a parked car. That was not a fun experience. So take it from me, you want to be looking ahead, looking where you actually want your bike to go. So when you're going into bends and corners, you want to be moving your knees to kind of mirror the corner that you're going into. So if you're going to be going into kind of a left bend, you want to lift your left knee up so that it just makes it feel a lot more natural, and you've got a lot more kind of comfort going around that corner. If your leg is stiff there, it's just, I think because I've done it so much now, it just feels totally natural to do it. So when you start off, you might have to consciously think of doing this, but it will become a lot more natural and it will come easily to you. You also want to take advantage of the brakes on the drops. So if you are using the brakes on the hoods, which is on the tops of the bar, sometimes on long descents that can get quite painful for your hands if you're doing a really long descent. So if you are able to get onto the drops and use the levers there, that makes it a lot more comfortable for your hands. And actually when you get used to it, you do feel like you've got a lot more control on the descents. So that is definitely one to practice. And the last thing is just to build confidence. It's going to take a little bit of time, a little bit of patience, but I would suggest going out on roads and hills that you know well, so that you know where the bends are. But for me, when I first started cycling, honestly, I was petrified. I was just very, very scared to do it and very timid, and I've just built up confidence using those tips that I've shared. I'm just getting out and riding. I feel confident on any descent now, so don't worry, you will feel better about descending. I reckon that's it. Also, I am giving away a copy of my ebook every day for this 10 days. My ebook is called Cycling Made Simple. It's just basically everything that you would ever need to know if you're starting out cycling. So I'll leave a link to that if you want to go and have a look at it. So to win a copy, you just want to leave a comment in the comment section, and I'll be picking one person every single day from each of the videos to win a copy of it. So I hope you found that helpful, and I will see you next video.